Kevin McCarthy from the Republican Party was ousted from his position as the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives by 8 Republican hardliners. What happens next? Deivid Lira will give us the details live. David?
Fred, Kevin McCarthy was ousted after being toppled in a right-wing revolt started by 8 Republican hardliners. This is the first time in the U.S. history that a House Speaker lost a no-confidence vote.
Office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Although McCarthy had support from many members of his conference to remain in his post, it only took 8 fellow Republicans to oust him. The final tally was 216 to 210 to remove McCarthy as the leader of Republican majority in the U.S. Congress. Kevin McCarthy angered the 8 Republican hardliners last week when he worked with the Democrats to pass a 45-day stopgate funding measure to avoid a government shutdown. It was U.S. Republican lawmaker Matt Gaetz, a Trump ally, who first called for ouster. He filed a motion to vacate to oust McCarthy. Throughout his short tenure, McCarthy has faced strong opposition from Republicans for compromising with Democrats on government fundings and aid to Ukraine. To recall, Gaetz early warned that he will move to oust McCarthy if his stopgap bill passed. And 2 days after McCarthy rallied the GOP lawmakers to pass the stopgap bill funding the U.S. government until November 17, Gaetz and other hardliners did exactly that. Even though McCarthy dropped the military aid for Ukraine from the funding bill, Gaetz accused him of making a secret deal with President Joe Biden to continue funding for Kiev amid negotiations to avert the said shutdown. Gaetz also claimed that McCarthy had shared details of the apparent deal with Republican lawmakers. McCarthy denies the accusations.
How do you respond to Kevin McCarthy's claim that this is payback for an ethics investigation?
I am the most investigated man in the United States Congress. I have been cleared by the FBI, the DOJ, the Federal Elections Commission by a 5-0 vote. It seems that the Ethics Committee's interest in me waxes and wanes based on my relationship with the Speaker. I believe that Speaker McCarthy is trying to signal to the Ethics Committee to pursue me. When I gave my Sunday interviews yesterday, indicating that I intended to file this motion to vacate Speaker McCarthy, hours did not pass before Republicans and members of the Ethics Committee were backgrounding reporters that they wanted to expel me from the United States Congress for bringing a motion to vacate under the rules that we negotiated in January after Kevin McCarthy broke his word. They want to expel me for Congress from that. So, you know what? I'm built for the battle. I face down tougher than these folks, and I'll do it again.
I would just say, if this House of Representatives has exceeded all expectations, then we definitely need higher expectations. And while it's heartwarming and kind that the Speaker calls people on their birthday and visits their district and congratulates them on their children, please know this isn't a critique of the individual, it's a critique of the job. The job hasn't been done. We've had multiple contradictory promises, and it's just quite something. For those of you keeping track at home, the last 3 speakers you've heard opposing my resolution all voted for the debt deal. So, if you believe that the debt limit deal that Speaker McCarthy brought into law was a good thing, maybe you agree with their perspective. I think the debt limit deal was a terrible deal, and that's one of the reasons. It really was the original sin of the McCarthy speakership, and it's one of the reasons I seek to vacate the chair now.
Meanwhile, Gaetz also cited the BRICS expansion and global de-dollarization as reasons to oust the congressional leadership.
So he seems to be reverting to the very unfortunate muscle memory of Washington, D.C. that has put our nation atop a $33 trillion debt that has led to $2 trillion annual deficits in our near future, and the rapid global de-dollarization of the economy. I mean, you look at the BRICS system, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they're moving away from the dollar. And just in August, they added 6 new countries, including G20 economies in the Western Hemisphere and Gulf monarchies. Moreover, you saw U.S. News say that the #1 economic trend of 2023 is de-dollarization globally. This worries me.
Aside from Gaetz, Representatives Andy Biggs, Kim Buck, Tim Burchett, Ali Crane, Bob Good, Nancy Mace, and Matt Rosendale were among the Republicans who voted to oust McCarthy. Shortly after being removed from the office, the California Republican told reporters that he will not run for Speaker again. He also made a hit out of his fellow Republicans who led the ouster.
You need 218. Unfortunately, 4% of our conference can join all the Democrats and dictate who can be the Republican Speaker in this House. I don't think that rule is good for the institution, but apparently I'm the only one. I believe I can continue to fight, maybe in a different manner. I will not run for Speaker again. I'll have the conference pick somebody else.
Meanwhile, Patrick McHenry, a Republican lawmaker from North California, was declared as the acting Speaker until the election of McCarthy's replacement. This is the first time in the U.S. House of Representatives' 234 years history that it backed a resolution to vacate the office of the Speaker. McCarthy served the oppositions for 269 days, making him the second shortest tenure in the U.S. history after Michael Kerr, who served as a Speaker for 257 days, died in the office in 1876. Now the U.S. Congress looking for a new Speaker. There are talks of a strong indication that some Republicans will nominate former U.S. President Donald Trump as McCarthy's replacement. Fox News recently interviewed Texas Representative Troy Nehls, who said that his first order of business when the House convenes is to nominate Trump. Representative Greg Stubb has also expressed that he wants Trump to be the House Speaker.
Fred, it's also important to note that Gates, the lawmaker who filed the oust McCarthy, is a supporter of Trump.
David, we are wondering how it will be possible for Trump to become the Speaker if he does not hold any position in the Congress.
Fred, the U.S. Constitution technically allows that it happen because it does not stipulate that the Speaker must be incumbent member of the House of Representatives. But for the Trump to be elected for the post, he will first be expected to garner 218 votes to win the speakership. This includes votes from both Republicans and Democrats. Back to you, Fred.
Thank you. That's Deivid Lira live on SMNI Studios. Meanwhile,